King Charles III has officially announced his permanent replacement for the ailing Princess of Wales while she continues battling late-stage breast cancer, a stunning decision that almost immediately sparked outrage, protest and accusations of impropriety against the newly minted sovereign. In a televised address to the nation from Windsor Castle, an ashen and solemn Charles revealed he has taken the controversial step of bestowing his daughter-in-law Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, with Kate Middleton's coveted Princess of Wales title on a formal interim basis. The move effectively positions the former American actress turned royal outlier to become the new face of the British monarchy and future princess consort should Catherine's tragic battle take a devastating turn for the worse or prove untenable long-term. Owing to the most heartbreaking and gutting of circumstances presently surrounding my own beloved daughter-in-law Catherine's heroic fight against this insidious disease, it is with a phenomenally heavy heart that I must regretfully install a temporary philosophical heir and ceremonial princess to uphold the regal duties she has so gracefully embodied for nearly 2 decades now, Charles somberly announced with his wife Camilla, now the Queen Consort, seated nearby looking equally mournful. Therefore, through equal parts practical pragmatism and symbolic adherence to the historical mandate of our crown's constitutional endurance through any crisis, it is my earnest wish to henceforth bestow the ceremonial Wales title upon the Duchess of Sussex herself for as long as she may be required in service to this kingdom and commonwealth. My fervent prayers are that the dear and irreplaceable Catherine may make a full recovery whereupon this regency can be reassessed, but for the moment, any alternative path simply remains untenable. Almost from the moment those words left the king's remorseful lips, uproarious denunciations, and even outright calls for his abdication erupted from nearly every sector of British society, media and political opposition. Despite Charles pleading for understanding and national unity during a tremendously difficult personal situation for the family, polls show over 2/3 of the public express outright rejection at Meghan Markle playing any tangential role as Princess of Wales while Kate is still alive. According to constitutional experts and royal analysts, the king's legal justification for temporarily replacing an ailing Princess of Wales appears to stem from archaic 14th-century laws and monarchical precedents surrounding marriages, annulments, and any instances of reigning sovereigns deeming their daughter-in-laws somehow unfit to fulfill spousal obligations or regal service. However, the last time such a drastic hypothetical royal substitution may have realistically been considered dates back to the Middle Ages during the intrigue and upheaval surrounding the doomed House of Plantagenet. The general assumption is that Charles has somehow convinced himself this arcane stratagem provides a legal loophole for replacing Catherine for ceremonial purposes while she is too unwell to serve, rather than finding another means of abdicating or dissembling the Princess of Wales title into limbo, explained constitutional historian Hugo Vickers, Deputy Governor Emeritus of the respected Society of Antiquaries. Admittedly, it's all quite complicated, but nowhere in existing charters or common law is an acting sovereign explicitly permitted to immediately anoint any random replacement without some form of existing family lineage or dynastic peerage claim over that specific role. That's what in theory allowed kings back in the 1300s to overturn certain arranged marriages to nobility or cite spousal unfitness if required for producing royal heirs. But we've rather evolved culturally since those Dark Age protocols. Indeed, ever since Meghan Markle's unprecedented unveiling as a purported Princess Regent within Buckingham Palace's regal ranks, tens of thousands of protesters have taken to the streets across London, Manchester, Glasgow, and beyond in visible displays of quintessentially British fury over the outlandish development. Completely unacceptable. She has no birthright, no legitimate claim, and no respect for our traditions whatsoever, raged Nigel Parsons, a 59-year-old third-generation train engineer marching alongside hundreds of others gathered outside Newcastle's City Hall waving Queen Catherine emblems and pro-monarchy banners. It's a right bloody farce is what it is. First that insufferable tart leaves to California moaning about us all, then the second Princess Catherine falls deathly ill, here she is being handed our most sacred ceremonial title on a platter. Absolutely mental, it is. I voted for independence over less. Similarly harsh condemnation toward King Charles's decision has poured in from all corners of the UK establishment as well, with political rivals, media influencers, and even respected members of the Crown's inner circle unified in contempt for any role being bestowed upon Markle involving the Princess of Wales title before the stricken Catherine's own fate is decided. This is an utter abomination, outright abdication of every shred of royal grace, dignity, and competence our sovereign is sworn to uphold at all costs, thundered former Conservative Prime Minister Sir William Shrub on the BBC's flagship Question Time programme Thursday night. The notion that such a controversial, self-aggrandizing, and polarizing figure already rejected by the court could simply waltz back in, let alone ascend to the rank of our Lord's cherished princess, is beyond the pale. I demand this wanton decree be rescinded at once, otherwise King Charles has left us no choice but to pursue all parliamentary paths toward his removal from the throne immediately. The monarchy simply cannot survive such recklessness. Bellicose sentiment shared by former Liberal Democrats leader Lord Pemberton Seabrook, who railed against Charles handing the keys to Buckingham Palace over to that Yankee grifter and her dullard prince, in a similar display of outrage hours earlier. Even portions of the normally reserved British press have issued rare full-throated denunciations against the king, no longer bound by deferential self-censorship now that the monarchy itself appears to be openly appending centuries-old dynastic protocols. What utter contempt for the institution of Britain itself to allow this sideshow of bombastic, garish Hollywoodisms and salacious media opportunism anywhere near our sovereign legitimacy and heritage. Let alone an actual hallowed title like Princess of Wales, tore into the Guardian's editorial board in a scathing op-ed titled, The Beverly Hillbilly Princess. A monarchy only remains sacrosanct so long as its honor is preserved and passed along through the sacred baptismal bloodlines of birthrights, not via hastily rubber-stamped nepotism elevating publicity-craved delisters and foreign outcasts looking to monetize national treasures. We utterly divorce ourselves from this Markle regency before it poisons us all into lasting disgrace. Already, harrowing footage captured by British television crews and shared widely over TikTok shows angry crowds pelting Meghan Markle's very likeness and effigies with projectiles, eggs and various debris. Worse, disturbing clips appear to display anti-monarchist extremist sects promoting outright violence targeting the American Duchess, warning their first target of vengeance lies squarely upon that disgraced wench's head should she dare defile our country and Catherine's virtue by ascending to Princess of Wales. Even one of Charles's own sons, Prince Harry himself, has made his vehement opposition to Meghan being elevated to the Wales peerage extraordinarily well known behind closed palace doors, according to various Windsor insiders. Multiple sources confirm the Duke of Sussex became indescribably incensed upon learning of the Regency plot to potentially override his own wife's desired autonomy with princess titles and archaic duties she expressly abandoned in recent years. Out-and-out fury barely describes the state Harry descended into once Charles revealed his intentions for Meghan. It was like nothing anyone here has ever witnessed previously from the typically quite laid-back prince, confided one anonymous palace staff member employed at Harry and Meghan's residence of Frogmore Cottage. He apparently refused seeing his father for nearly a week straight after learning of this betrayal, until eventually agreeing to an emergency family summit just to avoid things escalating even worse. According to that insider, the prince remains adamant Meghan have absolutely no interaction with the new Welsh ceremonial role or accept any type of bestowed title without his wife's explicit prior consent, something she has not yet provided and may never considering the Duchess' past criticisms of the monarchy's antiquated rules and expectations. Other accounts describe Harry as repeatedly slamming his fist down in outrage during discussions with Charles, even shouting pointed reminders that the entire original Megxit was prompted specifically to remove his family.